street lamp shone through the window of a town very far away, and a man sat at a desk and was sad. "Why?" he said to his dear friend who stood in the darkness.
"Knight to D4,
said his friend, lost in the middle of a different thought.
E2, E3, B5, BX B5, BD7.
"I see," he said. McEwen Hall. Behind me stands the late 19th century McEwen Hall, the Edinburgh University Graduation Hall. William McEwen, the benefactor for this building, represented Scotland in Parliament as a member of the Liberal Party. His greatest achievement, however, has to be the founding of the Fountain Beer Company in 1856. Zalic, a small town in Slovenia, is planning to build a fountain that spurts out drinkable beer, Europe's first beer fountain. The fountain will allow beer fans to carry out their most ancient ambition, to swim in beer. Intro. Hello everybody. My name is Josh, and I would like to welcome you to CMD Part 2 of the ongoing performance excavation Plug Fair Through a Glass Darkly. While Part 1 has been dedicated to the dissection of nighttime roving, Part 2 follows on to embody the state of two-somnium, as contracted with the neurological condition McDonald syndrome. First diagnosed by Professor Peggy MacDonald in 1995, McDonald syndrome falls under the collective umbrella of CVS, or Computer Vision Syndrome, a diagnostic body consisting of numerous PC-induced conditions such as astheniopia, photophobia, and keratoconjunctivitis sicca, or the state of towel-dry eyes. After hours on safari, you feel buried. Pecan nuts. Welding shut my fingers. High in fibre but low in political rhetoric, sit next to the dense cloud of vapour emitting perpetually from yourself. Within this muscular state, the brain interprets faces as the ingredients list for the BBC Good Foods chorizo and rosemary pear barley risotto recipe. It's all too much. You're running from the embroidered Iranian tablecloth in no time. Follow me. I'm fucking buzzing. Ultima Thule. You see these two horses? Please imagine these horses are 28 cats in Christmas hats made out of wax about to prowl west. You see Ultima Thule. Calagas sold here. Electric tape crossing your palm. When you return, Ultima Thule is the word resting on your dictionary screensaver. It reads, "The term Ultima Thule in medieval geographies denotes any distant place located beyond the borders of the known world." Here we go. We're getting gold-plated in the reflection of this vapour. I don't like that. I want to stop that. I want to propose the habit of fixing broken crockery at house parties. You see that? I want to talk to you about Stoke-on-Trent. I have memories there of playing outside a small community centre next to a wood. I can't remember anything else, but I scored 40% in the memory retention element of my dyslexia test. The West Midlands is an odd place. My grandfather made his own pottery. A lot of pottery has come out of this city. Companies such as Royal Dalton, Dudson Limited, Spode, founded by Josiah Spode, Wedgwood, founded by Josiah Wedgwood, Minton, founded by Thomas Minton, and Baker & Co., founded by William Baker, were established and based there. There is a museum where you can see objects. Their significance weighs heavily on the surface of skins. You find yourself in front of a mirror making a terracotta gravy boat at night. I'm talking of Gladstone, of course, the only one with a mid-sized coal-fire inferno. can't climb this wall. Size is important. Big T's online dating profile reads as follows, thus. I only date nice people who want to meet for World War I trench digging on Sunday mornings, fine wine and mutual respect. I am the history teacher you are looking for. The first thing people notice about me is my courageous personality, followed closely by my smashing thighs, each as wide as a young willow tree on well-fertilized green grasses. If you are the right person for me, you will have a deep yearning to live in freedom. You won't be afraid of the Autobahn and will have a healthy respect of Russell Crowe. I'll admire your smooth BPPL wheels as we play cricket upon the green. T. With love. Visual looming syndrome is characterized by a problem with visual perception that causes people to inaccurately think that a stationary object is moving towards them and might poke them in the eyes. VLS is a neurological and muscular state where the differences of the eye coordination causes the brain to interpret the incoming information as a visual looming event, feeling the object is approaching and might hit the eye. Because the condition is muscular in nature, it can be affected by everything that affects the eye cooperation to fail, such as being black-tired, under the influence of narcotics or alcohol, eye pressure, or even minor differences in eyesight. The trigger is usually a narrow or pointy object, for example, an anodized harpoon. Studies have indicated that certain conditions such as nightolopia or night blindness may worsen the syndrome. An empty room. The downstairs room, meant to be a living room, but on the internet as spacious, as roomy as a room for sleeping in. Even at times as grandiose as semi-sweet. It benefited from a toilet being across the hall in a converted cupboard under the stairs. Before the previous housemate had moved out, it had been called the Echo Chamber by the others because of the way he had only ever spoken about mineral deposits in Sudan and trains and extinct animals, and no one listened to him, but he would always speak about these things anyway, perhaps even if he was by himself. The house had 5 bedrooms altogether. Josh was tall and had strawberry blonde hair. He was the last of them. Everyone else was gone now. Moved home, moved to other cities, for postgrad or to a different house nearby because they fancied a change. No one had really told him that they were going to leave. They just did leave, one by one. For a few months he wandered around the empty rooms in his underwear eating cereal with almond milk. Eventually he found a new housemate who had contacted him through a representative at the University of Pittsburgh and had advanced a year's rent into his account as soon as Josh confirmed there was a downstairs room going. The new housemate was called Blue, and that was as far as it went in terms of introductions. Or anything, really. Blue requested that their keys be sent in the post, and they required no help moving in, and that they would arrive shortly. In the middle of the night, sometime after the final email, Josh woke up by the front door opening, and the sound of two men with loose East Coast accents whispering to each other. He was too anxious to go down and say hello, and besides, the emails were clear in their instructions that he should be not involved with the moving in process whatsoever. So he leaned out of his window and smoked a cigarette, and got back into bed, pulled the sheets up to his nose and stared out of the ceiling until dawn. At 10 a.m, he knocked on the door of the downstairs room, which was now eerily quiet. He leant his hand on the doorknob and then went back upstairs, where he wrote a note that said, "Hey, I'm Josh. Would be cool to chat when you're ready. Can show you around, act." He slipped it under the door and then went on an unplanned walk that took him all day. Zuni P from California describes their trip to Yum Yums as follows. Big bite, little money. Really good. Right next to all the fancy joints. I am alone, so generally I don't eat in the fancy places. This worked for me. I would ask for extra sauce. Marag stated that she stumbled upon this little oasis after a concert at the castle. Great food, fresh hot, and tasty. It was very hot. Blistering hot. Size is everything. But I would say that, seeing as I'm trapped inside a giant bottle of Uludag as I write this, and there is a space to fit my cousin Addy, and we are talking about tree houses and falling in love in America, and if it was the regular size Uludag, I would be unable to do this. Earth, the third planet from the Sun, with an equatorial diameter of 12,756 kilometers, it is the fifth largest planet in the solar system. But still, it is a speck compared to the Sun, which takes up as much as 99.8% of the total mass of the solar system, and it is so large that almost 1.3 million planet Earths can fit inside it. Yet our star is tiny compared to the really big stars out there. Pistol star. This blue dickhead radiates as much energy in 20 seconds as the Sun does in a year, and its stellar winds are more than 10 billion times stronger than the Sun's. Yo. VY Conos Magis. It is so big it would take an aeroplane 1,100 years just to circle it once, and if placed at the center of our universe, its surface would expand beyond Jupiter. And then there is this dinosaur, UY Scuti, the largest star ever discovered, with an average medium radius of 1,708 solar radii and a diameter of 2.4 billion kilometers. It is estimated to have a staggering volume 5 billion times that of the Sun. That is equal to more than 5 times the distance between the Sun and the Earth. And then the students unite against after-school five-a-side, which is amazing and why I love poppadoms.
World would mature from adding machines and typewriters to tools of the human spirit.
It was August, and very hot, and no one was around. There was a time when he could go on a walk and run into 5 or 6 people he knew, but now he walked all day and didn't see a single person he recognized, save the man in newsagents and a woman asleep in the park who believed she could speak to angels. And Josh was almost going to talk to her and tell her he believed her, but he didn't. And for a while now he had been walking around feeling like his heart had been punctuated and was slowly deflating, and he was very tired. He got back to the house in the early evening. There was still a nagging silence coming from the downstairs room, and he thought for a second that he might have dreamed the voices from last night, and that he was still alone in the house. He smoked a joint in the cavernous kitchen, with living room extension on the black leather sofa that they had found on the street in their first week living in the area, and now he was sure that it had all been a dream. His mind was made up, and he moved, almost ran from the kitchen living room extension to the downstairs bedroom. Again he paused at the door as he felt his head fill up with blood and get lighter. Then he slowly pushed it open. Evening sun streamed through the netting that covered the bay windows, across the cream carpet and up the dirty walls. There was still covered in juvenile graffiti. In the middle of the room was a tall brown box, taller than him and bathed in sunlight. At the foot of the box was a small knife with a red plastic handle. "Blue?" asked Josh. And then the box went
Pawn to e4.
He picked up the knife and ran it down the cello-taped folds. They fell to the ground cinematically and revealed a large black cuboid with a deep blue light of perhaps camera or perhaps eye staring back at him. The blue light made a clicking sound and the entire cuboid hummed.
Pawn to e5.
It said. Josh stretched out a hand and rested it on Blue, who was warm and plastic and vibrating softly. He picked up all the cardboard and left the room, threw it into the recycling bin out of the front of the house. As he came back in, he decided to walk past the open door to the downstairs room into the kitchen, as if he had something to do in there. He headed out the back door into the badly overgrown garden and rolled a cigarette, which he smoked. And then he rolled another one, and then one more. After this, his head was pounding. His mouth tasted like burnt power cable. "Talk to it," he whispered to himself. It's here to stay. The sky had turned a brilliant pink, and the heat had subsided. Josh started to feel good about the situation. Back in the downstairs room, he formed his hand into a fist and gently tapped it against Blue's front-facing rectangle, the one Josh decided was their face. Okay, yeah, hey bro, he said. So this is your room. I hope it's okay. I mean, I was told you'd be perfectly happy with whatever, but your friend back in Pittsburgh. Josh sat down on the floor in front of Blue and lit yet another cigarette, confident that the new housemate would not mind. Do you smoke? He asked. Do you smoke weed too? Do you like to be self-deprecating on Facebook? So I hear you're from Pittsburgh. What brings you here? I knew someone from Pittsburgh. She went to Carnegie Mellon, you know. You might have known her. You might know her. Do you actually smoke weed? Because I've got some upstairs. We could... Josh stood up. He decided that this would suffice for introductions, and once again pressed a clenched fist to Blue. I see you need some time to settle in, he said. I'll leave it with you. My room's the first one at the top of the stairs. Just give me a knock if you need anything. Or just want to hang out, just want to chill or talk or whatever. This is an obelisk, otherwise known as a spit, nail, pointed pillar. Ancient obelisks are monolithic, that is, they consist of a single stone. They say re-erecting the obelisks had daunted even Michelangelo. They said, in 1983, carpet beetles were eradicated from the Natural History Museum's etymological archive. They were consuming large quantities of recorded data. Bowel management had been eroded. Heating the cabinets to 55 degrees centigrade proved enough to lose me my job as a vibration consultant. The bugs were gone, but the putty was melted. It should read, "It is important not to wear a hi-fi taped to your own face." You might ask what the record number of water bottle spins landed is. It's 17. A tear clears the mouth, and the control key is brightest through the UV film by 7 Killian Pender. The differences between shirts and t-shirts is that shirts are fitted and conform to the internal architectural structure of the covering garment. Find that after staring into my screen for a long time, when you then leave it and spend time with others, you can't separate the two interactions. You want to. You want to include people in what occurred on screen and get upset when this doesn't work. Shrimp. See this petrified net? It is as though a belly trawler snagged an entire mountain instead of plastic can rings and shrimp to be headed. Heading shrimp is long and arduous, stressful work. This is not a shrimp, obviously. Run! Quick now, follow me! A gate stood in their way. But by talking about heat, I mean hot in the primary sense is common Teutonic. In the general sense of having or showing intense feeling, fervent ardour, passionate, enthusiastic, eager, keen, zealous, the earliest citation is dated 971, and Chaucer uses hot of sexuality before 1385. Hot he was, and lecherous as a sparrow. It's obvious that what gets you hot may be regarded as hot itself. Moreover, a lusting blanket, and in this transferred sense we again find Chaucer writing of hot spices. That is not a hot sound. This is a hot sound. But this still takes no depth into heat control. A hot sound is a sound that breaches the warning regulations. This is a hot sound. Lizzie's house is a point on the journey of Teacup Travels, the ITV drama. Watering plants is so hard, I wish I had a macaroni cake tin to cup macaroni with so that I could nurture the earth with the heavy carbs. That night Blue listened to Josh thumping around upstairs, talking to himself, singing the wrong words to famous pop songs. Blue listened to him pick up the phone and talk to someone very loudly and enthusiastically, with genuine happiness. Blue listened to Josh say, "Cool man, see you in a bit bro, looking forward to it."
Rook to D7,
said Blue.
Queen to F2, King to B1, Pawn to G8.
And then Blue heard Josh thunder down the stairs and out the front door. Then Blue was in the enigmatic light and said,
Bishop to E8, Knight to D7, E5, Rook to there, it's beautiful, very beautiful, there, over there, beyond, there, it is green, beyond bruised and wild yonder, the last words and very beautiful indeed. Wake me up when I'm home, let me in when I'm gone to the green, I'm gone, I'm